Welcome to the G League Insider, live from Studio G, somewhere on the Applied Medical campus.
That was awesome, Scott. Well, welcome everyone to our first episode of G League Season 5 Insider. Actually, we changed the name of our podcast this season. We call it Inside the G League. Obviously inspired by the Inside the NBA. But we have a lot of good content for you guys. But before we jump into our main topics, want to give you a little brief about what G League is all about. You guys already know we prioritize competitive balance, ensure that all the good, hard money that you earned are put into a quality game in the games that you play. And G League pretty much started from AMBL. Like throughout the season, you're gonna hear a lot about AMBL. Basically, is a company league that we started 27 seasons ago, and people after a while people leave the company, but we kept in touch, and those people that left the company still wanted to get together and continue playing basketball, the sports that we all love. And we started off as a scrimmage session, but after a while, those people start inviting their friends, and their friends start inviting their friends, and we have became a great big community of just us getting together playing basketball. And we told ourselves, why not start another league? So that is the result of our league, and we're into season 5. I'm very thankful for you guys for being part of this league. With your help, I think we can continue to grow this league to the next level. But enough about that. Let's jump right into our main subject. But I also want to introduce you to two guests that are going to be talking about a very interesting topic. First, we have Scott, one of our staff members.
Hi, how's it going?
And we have Basim from, again, another one of our staff members.
Hello.
So the topic that we're going to talk about is very controversial. We're going to have a reaction. We're going to talk about the power rankings that just came out a couple days ago, and another one that came out today. The first one was by Nick Wrong, and the second power ranking was by Colin Coward. And the commonality from their take was that part-time hoopers were ranked number 7, and the team N1, led by Michael, was ranked number 8. Both of them, Colin and Nick, ranked part-time hoopers and N1 at the bottom. So let's start talking about that, you guys. What is our reaction to those takes?
Well, I mean, we haven't played any games yet, so who knows what's going to happen? The season is still early. They could be number 1 and number 2 at the end of the season. But, I don't know, just looking at the rosters and the way that they're constructed, I can see how both Colin and Nick kind of rated them as such. There's some flaws with the roster construction. Maybe these teams can overcome them through the season and the way that they played, but yeah, I mean, just going into the season, it's like, I wonder how part-time hoopers are going to grow 6 inches between now and season start.
So you talked about grow, specifically their height. I think it was Team Captain Angelo's strategy to draft the team, small. They wanted to play the small ball. So are you also kind of agreeing with Nick Wrong and Colin Coward that could be their weaknesses?
Yeah, I mean, based on insider reporting, we've heard that Ernesto again may be playing the center role. So if Ernesto's your big man and anchor in the paint, you may have some problems, but I don't know. Maybe they just play so fast that they don't need a big man.
Just for those who doesn't know Ernesto yet, he's actually 5'10", and the average height for this season's center is about 6'2", 6'3". So we'll see about that. But I actually have faith in Angelo's team because, we've seen DJ, Ken, all those guys come out to the scrimmage, and I think they could really maximize their speed. and their agility to make plays and score. So, Bastian, what do you think about the part-time hoopers? Do you also rank them on the bottom?
Well, gee, honestly, this season it's a very tough season. Everyone has great picks, and it's pretty much balanced. So, like Scott was saying, things might swing a different team's way anytime, right? People could pick up wins where they're not supposed to, but I think it's a really competitive season this season. And with the Starship Shooters, I do agree that they are playing more small ball.
Part-time hoopers.
Sorry, part-time hoopers. They are playing more small ball, so it's going to be tough for them to compete with the larger teams, especially with the bigger sizes across the board there.
So I think that's the thing for the part-time hoopers, but they have already proven, some of the takes wrong, because in the preseason game, I know there was no referee, there's no free throws and whatnot, but during the preseason, they did beat the Dirty Dogs by 57-56. So we'll see about that. Then now let's talk about N1, led by Michael Buehler, who was actually the team captain for the champions last season. Why do you think Colin and Nick has them on the bottom at number 8?
I feel like Bassam will be the best to answer this one.
As he is part of that roster, right? So how do you respond to that?
I think it's. I don't think that we should be at the bottom. I don't know if it's maybe that percentage shooting that we're shooting at. I think it was recorded to be 24%. But again, it was just in the beginning of the season. We're trying to get used to each other. The preseason game was a good way for us to bond and kind of understand how each other play. Hopefully our free throw or field goal percentage is going to pick up. And I think that's our biggest weakness right now. Overall, I think we have a good team. We're able to make some plays down the stretch. Unfortunately, our shooting was a bit off that night, but I do think that we have the ability to win. Maybe it's the picks of Chris and Will. Both of them are going to be the main ball handlers, and maybe them being both on the field is turning off Nick and Colin. Maybe they don't see how they're going to mesh together, but I think it's going to be a good team to work with.
So you're referring to the preseason game, right?
Yes.
Where they lost to the Starship Shooters 36-44.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, what's your take on N1 being on the bottom of the rankings?
N1 is definitely one of those boom or bust kind of teams. They're going to shoot 30-plus threes a night.
Yeah, they certainly will.
And if you catch them on a bad night, they're going to put up 40-50% on you, and that's kind of just, it's just kind of over at that point. What can you do? But I don't know. I don't think Chris will shoot 14%. I think he'll be at a much higher clip, and so this team will be pretty scary. It just kind of depends on their shooting percentage night to night, and I think that's kind of why both of the power rankings have them on the lower end of things.
Yeah, I think Chris Ocampo, I think he's the rookie that we're definitely going to be looking forward to seeing. A lot of highlights. And the return of Nick Daniel Silva, who was the top player from 2 seasons ago. So welcome back, Nick Daniel. I think they're going to make a good 1-2 combo. And Rich will be coming back from an injury, but we all know he's a great shooter. Can be a volume shooter at times, but we know he's clutch. And led by Will from the point guard standpoint, I think this team could make things happen. So I personally don't see them at the bottom, but that's what Nick Wrong and Colin Coward decided to put them on. How about the top rankings? Let's take a look at Colin Coward chose Air Those Balls as number 1. And Nick Wrong also had them on the top as number 3. So let's talk about Air Those Balls.
So for ATB, I kind of lump them into the same kind of vibe space as N1, both in terms of like skill sets that they possess, and if you catch them on the wrong night, they're going to put up 23s on you, and you're just going to lose from that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think ATB has a stronger defensive core, potentially, and so that's why they're a little bit higher.
That's a good point, yeah. How about you, Basim? How do you see them air those balls? Do you agree with them ranking them in the top?
I think they have a good team. You know, like I was saying, this season, pretty much it's going to be dependent on the night. You know, who's going to be shooting better because both all teams are very much competitive. Right now, air those balls. They do have the champion
That's right.
and they have Nick Johnson on their team, and this is going to be a big boost to the air those balls. So I'm expecting big things. Sean's making his return, and he's looking to redeem himself from last season as well.
What do you mean redeeming himself? What happened last season? Let's be more detailed.
I think Sean was trying to recreate the Holy Trinity and boost them forward, and I think he had a vision of how things were going to go, but unfortunately it took the wrong turn somewhere in terms of playmaking and turnovers. Things weren't landing for Sean in that department.
So you're saying that he's gonna turn from a winless season last season to an undefeated season this season, right?
I don't know about undefeated, but I do think he would have a good winning record, especially with Nick Johnson on his team.
Great. Another rookies that we look forward to are Dan, right? He's been talked about a lot amongst the team captains. And then Chris Jung, who actually was number 2 or number 3 in terms of points per game in the recent AMBL league, right? So those two are like powerhouses that we could really look forward to.
And witnessing Chris play in the AMBL, he is a really good player and a really good pickup for Sean's team. I think he will complement Nick Johnson a lot in terms of being a force to be reckoned with inside the paint as well.
So now let's talk about straight out of shape Vandy's team. Colin had them at number 2, high, right? But Nick Wrong had them at number 6, quite low. So why do you think there's such a contradiction between the two for straight out of shape?
I mean, looking at the rosters, right, you have, at the very top, you have a couple of rookies, well, air quotes rookies. Ushtaba has played a bunch of AMBL games, so people are familiar with him and his game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steven Sales has played maybe some sub games here and there in the G League.
Right.
And so there's this kind of unknown factor about those guys. However, I think all of us are expecting high things or great things from both of those players. So I think that's kind of where the difference is of like these rookies coming in and how much they can contribute in the G League.
Gotcha. Just to be clear, Mustafa is in fact rookie, but Steven, this is his second season. Yeah, but no worries, because he so busy with work, traveling, that he hasn't been able to play many games, so he may seem like a rookie. But Basim, what's your take on why do you think there's such a, why do you think they pick such a different position?
I think it's just because, Mustafa being a rookie, I know he was subbing a few games in
last season. Yeah.
And I don't think he showed up as he should have. So maybe based off of that, lots of people are not seeing the straight out of shape team coming out on top. But Mustafa does have great vision. He has a great ability to be a playmaker, as well as get hot from the 3. He's also a decent big man as well. With Steven Sales, their pairing together is going to be great. I think another reason why I think straight out of shape is going to fall down to probably the 6th round in terms of Nick Wrong's opinion is probably because of Imran. I know Imran didn't have a great 3-point percentage last season. It was a bit off. But he might be coming, I'm sure he's been practicing his shot, getting better for this season coming up. And Vandy is looking also to redeem himself as well.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that. There's been sources that showed Imran actually playing really well after last season, playing in his other league that he's involved with. Highlights of him making like NBA distant threes and clutch shots and whatnot. So I actually see straight out of shape on the top, maybe the top 2, top 3, because I think Imran will play really well this season, and Vandy is also on a mission to showcase his skill set. And with Steven and Mustafa, I actually see them on the top 2 or 3. So we'll see whose pick was the right one. Let's jump right to Sonic Switch because the rookie that everyone has been eyeing amongst the team managers was Mitchell. Mitchell was the expected number 1 draft pick, and he was the number 1 draft pick. So let's talk about this team. Do you see them on the top or on the bottom?
Watching these guys play last week, Mitchell looks like he's just floating up there. And in the second half, you can kind of just see like he realized it was go time and just took over the game. So he has that next level to him that really makes us think that if Sonic Swish ever need a bucket, it's going to him and he's going to get a really quality look.
So what you're saying is he's been taking it easy on us during scrimmage.
It does feel like that.
I see. That's scary then. What's your take, Bastian?
I agree with what Scott was saying. Like, Mitchell truly is going to be playing his own game. There's nothing really you could do about it. You know, all you can do sometimes is just sit there and say, "Damn," you know, as he takes a shot. He'll get to his position. He'll get to his shot. Main thing is going to, you know, do your best to box him out and keep him outside and, you know, miss those shots. I think the biggest thing right now for Sonics is going to be Adrian's consistency. I know he's been a bit cold last season, but he's been playing great in the scrimmages. He's been consistent in shooting the threes as well. But I think consistency from Adrian is going to be key.
Oh yeah, in the recent scrimmage he came out, he was on fire.
Yes.
So
yes.
with this dad Alvin hitting all cylinders,
Mm-hmm.
this team is gonna be scary.
And Marcus is great on the defensive and offensive end, getting those boards and you know, able to push the pace where some other teams might not be able to, you know, handle Marcus. Sahel is also a great pickup when it comes to ball handling if needed.
The most efficient player in history of AMBL. Hey, let's talk about Dirty Dogs. They're led by the new captain, Finals MVP from last season, Georges. He's paired with Mario, who recently also won the championship in AMBL, right? Also Finals MVP from that. So how do you see this roster, which consists of Jason and Tayo and other great guys? How do you see them playing this season?
The Mario and George's 1-2 punch is going to be deadly. They can both play defense. They can both shoot it. They'll get hot and then just take over a game for like 15-point stretches. So in terms of point scoring, they're going to be probably at the top, honestly.
Colin and Nick have them at the mid, 5th and 6th. But I do agree with you, Scott, that I think with Mario, anything's possible. So I see them on the top. But let's talk about another MVP, actually the MVP of past 2 seasons for G League, Scott Majors and the Red Bulls. What's your take on this team?
Honestly, this team is going to be very interesting with leading with Scott Majors. There are rumors that Scott Majors and G might be missing some games. This is probably going to be why their power rankings might have fallen a bit, but there's no debating how Scott Majors will be playing. He's a top tier player. He's able to create, distribute, and to go to the bucket whenever he needs to be. Nothing really much stopping him. When free throws come along, that's also going to be very deadly for the Red Bulls. They also picked up rookie Ishmael, I believe.
Yes.
And he's also a force to be reckoned with. He can catch hot from 3 at any moment, so you always have to be watching out from that. So it will be interesting how G is going to lead this team. You know, it's totally possible. They also have a relatively big team, if not the biggest team. You know, also picking up defensive player Isaac Morrison. Maybe he'll be more offensive. And we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, no bias. I hope they do really well. Anyway, last team that we want to cover, last but not least, Starship Shooters. Scott, quickly, what's your take on this team?
Best team in the league, gonna go 9.
No bias.
Yeah, never gonna lose all season. I love this team. Like, this team is so cerebral, and so the ball will move. We're gonna get quality looks. So I'm very, very excited to play with all these guys.
Awesome. Well, to kind of sum it up, Colin and Nick, I think they put their best effort in putting these rankings. We appreciate their contribution, but there's some things that we agree with, some that we disagree, but I hope that you guys continue to enjoy their articles. These are the type of things that we want to hope to provide to you guys in terms of the league experience to increase your engagement. And at the end of the day, this is all for fun, you know. I hope that you guys really enjoy the league. before we go, I want to do a quick prediction for season opener, which will be happening after the Thanksgiving break. For week 1, the first game, we have Air Those Balls and Red Bulls. Scott, quickly, who do you see winning this game?
Is Scott Majors playing?
Let's make one thing for certain, Isaac Morrison will not be suiting up, but let's just say everyone else is
playing.
Yes.
Man, it's hard to go against a Scott Majors led team, especially with a defense, like a long, lengthy defensive core. I'm gonna go Red Bulls, assuming everyone's there.
Okay, I think Sean's gonna take that personally, but we'll see.
And he's gonna go for 25 and say in the news article, Scott Nakatsu called me on the podcast.
Okay. How about the next game, Starship Shooters and Sonic Switch? Basim, who do you see taking the W?
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think it's easy. I think it's really easy, Basim.
I do think the Starship Shooters are going to take it. I think they. I think they're going to come out and surprise the number one team right now,
Mitchell.
being the Sonic Swish. I think they're going to come out and surprise them. It all depends again. If Adrian's able to be consistent, Mitchell is able to push into second gear, but we'll see how the team plays from there. I think the Shooters are going to take this one.
Okay, the third game between Dirty Dogs, led by Mario and Georges, against SOS, which is the Straight Outta Shape. That's right, Straight Outta Shape, led by Vandy and Imran and Mustafa. What do you think, Scott?
Give me the Dogs. I think SOS will get better as the season progresses once they start feeling each other out in terms of where they need to be in the passing lanes and that sort of thing. I think Dogs will just start off shooting threes like crazy.
Okay. And lastly, Basin, last matchup for the week 1, Part-Time Hoopers versus N1. These two teams were ranked the bottom, but they're paired up for the first week. Who do you think coming out on top?
Personally, I think And1 has it. We were able to learn each other's play styles in the preseason, and I think we're going to play well. So I think And1 is able to take this victory home.
Of course, your team's gonna win.
Yeah, let's go.
Angelo, listening to this, he will be counting the days. I think he'll be preparing his crew for a great game.
I can't wait to play Ernie as center. It's gonna be great.
And so with that, those are the two subjects that we wanted to, reaction that we want to provide for you. And lastly, as we close, I do want to ask for help from you guys. We're looking for any volunteers who may be interested in taking photos for our games. We do have a staff that takes stats and set up the GoPro, but if you are interested in contributing to the league with your photography skills, then please reach out to us. We'll love to have you. That concludes our episode 1, completely unedited, unprepared podcast, but we thank you for your attention, and we'll see you next time. That's tough.